Why is it that some people can go through their day with no crashes, they don't need caffeine, and they never hit a decline, while some people constantly are running into food comas and they're just hitting midday crashes? So I used to always hit those crashes, go into food comas, and drink tons of caffeine throughout my day. And now I never drink caffeine, I never hit energy crashes or go into food comas. Instead, I have one simple and abundant food, and I'm gonna tell you what it is at the end. So I'm gonna tell you guys 2 reasons why you're hitting midday crashes and how to fix these. Ever notice that you get really tired after a big meal? And if you know how to avoid it, you can go through your day without ever hitting a crash, especially after a big meal. So our bodies use energy to digest the foods that we eat. Depending on the food and the quantity determines how much energy is going to be used to now break down that food. And when we're eating food that is super dense, it's going to require more energy to break down that food for our bodies to absorb the nutrients. So the food that we eat is supposed to be fuel for our body. What you put in the tank is supposed to keep the train moving. It's supposed to keep the wheels pumping and keep us going throughout the day. So what we eat is really important in terms of how much energy that we have. Okay, and so when we eat past the point of being full, which seems to be super common, especially with huge portions and all you can eat places. So you end up eating past the point when you're full, and now your body, it goes into overdrive. It takes tons of energy from your body that you were planning on using to go through your day to now digest this food and break it down. The coal that you're throwing in the engine isn't keeping the train moving. And so the conductor, you upstairs, is wondering what the hell's going on, and you hit a crash. And all of a sudden you have to sit down, lounge around for an hour, and you don't feel like doing anything because now you just put yourself into a food coma. So the food that we eat is supposed to be hydrating and high energy food that's going to keep you going all throughout your day, and that's going to give you tons of energy. So do you ever wonder why you keep crashing, especially after lunch or dinner? Even though you want to have the energy like when you were a kid, the food that you eat is a direct relation to how much energy that you're gonna have throughout your day. So when you're eating processed food that's heavily cooked in oil and fried, taking in processed sugars, fast foods, sodas, things like gluten, dairy, and meat products, and just heavily cooked foods, these foods are all super heavy on the digestive system, and our bodies have to use tons of energy to break that food down. So when you pair it with eating past full and eating these super dense foods, your body now has gone into overdrive. It now has to put in so much effort just to break that food down, just so you can absorb the nutrients and get the fuel. But you don't end up getting the fuel from these high processed, highly cooked, highly oil drenched foods. In fact, you get the opposite. You get a crash. Your body takes energy instead of giving you energy, when our food is supposed to keep us moving throughout the day. So if you want to keep going at high performance, high energy all throughout the day, like I do, with that one simple and abundant food, that food is called fruit. Fruit is super hydrating, and it's super high in nutrients, and it's super good for you, and it's very high vibrational food. It's going to give you energy and pump you up through the day. I don't mean eat like a piece of fruit. Never a piece of fruit, always a feast of fruit. That's what I always say. Fruit is low in calorie, but high in nutrients, so you can eat it in great abundance. When you eat fruit in big quantities, you get enough calories that you need for the day, you get high energy, and you never hit a crash. There's no downsides to eating an abundance of fruit. It's gonna keep you going, moving at your highest peak energy all throughout the day. Fruit equals high energy. And I'm not saying that you need to change your entire diet to a fruit-only diet. What I'm saying is that I suggest that you start breaking your fast with fruits. Instead of breaking your fast with things like bacon, biscuits and gravy, hash browns, these foods are totally energy suckers, okay? Instead, break your fast with hydrating fruits, and a lot of them. Fruits and vegetables in their raw form have high nutrients, high hydration, and will keep you going throughout your day at your peak performance. And I'm not saying to change your entire diet into like a raw food diet, but incorporating these raw fruits and vegetables throughout your day and in your meals is going to be a total game changer, and you're gonna go from having no energy to having full energy, especially when you aren't gorging yourself past full. One pro tip is stop eating right before you feel completely packed. The food will expand. Depending on what you eat, your body will inflame a little bit, and you'll get that full, satisfied feeling that we're so used to. If you want my recipes for my top 3 high energy meals, go ahead and click that link down in the bio. All right, guys, thanks for sticking around. I'm out.